I was originally gonna wait to make this video until I saw all the movies I wanted to this year, but then I thought to myself that, it's the new year. I might as well have a video out before break, and so while the movies of 2017 are fresh on everyone's mind, I'll do a top 10. And so these are my top 10 movies of 2017. Now keep in mind, I haven't seen everything. There's quite a few movies I still need to see, and if you're wondering why a certain movie isn't on there, it's either I haven't seen it, or I just have a lower opinion of it. So here we go, let's get into the list. At number 10, I have Spider-Man: Homecoming. Lately I've been getting really tired of the Marvel Cinematic Universe just because it all seems pretty bland and generic to me. They all seem pretty samey. While Spider-Man doesn't do a lot to break the trend, it does take a lot of steps in the right direction, and I think Tom Holland was excellent as Spider-Man, and this movie was very funny, and it's probably one of the better Marvel movies. I really enjoyed it, and think it's just a fun superhero blockbuster that's worth seeing. Coming in at number 9, we have It. All the kids blow it out of the water, and kid acting sucks a lot in Hollywood, and I'm glad that this kind of broke the trend. Everything was kind of going against this movie, really. Stephen King adaptations are kind of 50-50 on suck or don't suck. Child acting is barely ever good in movies, and horror movies just kind of suck nowadays. But it turned out to be very, very good, and while I wouldn't call it necessarily too scary, the jump scares were a little much, I think. But the thing that absolutely makes this movie is the dialogue between the characters. I absolutely loved all the kids and their conversations. It was so funny and so well written. And Bill Skarsgård's performance as Pennywise, I liked. I wasn't huge on, but I liked it. I kind of wish he was like a little more inviting, because he just gave off this scary clown and no kid would ever go near him if they had the right mind. While as the miniseries back in 19 whatever it was, the Pennywise seemed like kids would go up to him because he seemed friendly enough, but he had a dark side. Pennywise in this movie seems like he's mostly just all bad news, but minor complaint. I had a really good time with it, and I suggest it highly. Coming in at number 8, I have Dunkirk. Dunkirk was probably the second most unique experience I've had in a theater all year. Christopher Nolan's directing and style of filmmaking completely shines through in this, and I absolutely loved it. While the actors didn't have much lines to say, they did a great job in everything, and while it's not what I expected more of a traditional war movie where characters have breaks, they sit on the beach, talk about their life. That doesn't happen. It's just non-stop action, and it makes you feel like you're in the war, and it's super intense despite the PG-13 rating. I had a great time with Dunkirk, and I highly recommend it to anybody who's a fan of war movies, or even if you're not. It's one of the better ones out there. Coming in at number 7 is War for the Planet of the Apes. Now, I was a huge fan of the other two Planet of the Apes movies. War might be my favorite. I really loved it, and even though there's no war, it's more of a character study of Caesar. A character past the breaking point. And it's not an action movie, it's a drama, and Woody Harrelson is great as the villain. I absolutely loved him, and everyone else gives a great performance. Who plays Caesar? Shit. Andy Serkis was amazing as Caesar, as usual. I think he deserves an Oscar nod. Will he get it? No. But I think he deserves it. And overall, War for the Planet of the Apes was a great send-off to a pretty decent trilogy that I really enjoyed. Coming in at number 6 is Get Out. The social commentary in Get Out was absolutely fantastic. I really loved it. It was subtle enough to not be super in your face, but it was there and was clearly meant to be seen. And I really enjoyed it. And past the social commentary, it wouldn't matter if the movie wasn't suspenseful, since it's a horror movie, and it's very suspenseful. There are some scenes that are really disturbing, and it's not a jump scare mess. It's more like edge of your seat, what's going to happen next. And I know a lot of people saw the twist coming from a mile away, but I didn't really. I kind of did, but I didn't expect it fully. And it's a horror movie that managed to balance suspense with being really funny, and the only other movie that came out this year that I think did that successfully was It. So if you're a horror movie fan, I highly suggest Get Out, and I had a great time with it. Coming in at number 5, I have Baby Driver. Baby Driver is the newest movie directed by Edgar Wright, who is one of my favorite directors working today, and his directing, placement, and just style just oozes in this movie. The music lines up perfectly with the action. Every shot counted. I loved everything about it and had some of the best scenes of the year. It's unfortunate Kevin Spacey's in it, yeah, but as a movie, ignoring that, it's amazing, and I really, really, really loved it. Coming in at number 4, we have Logan. Logan is the newest Wolverine movie, but it's not a superhero movie. It's more of a character study of Wolverine and Logan, and for the longest time, Hugh Jackman has wanted a rated R Wolverine movie for his send-off, and he got it, and it is fantastic, and is, in my opinion, kind of commentary on how superhero movies are kind of dead as a genre, but that's just one way to see some of the themes in the movie. I really, really, really thought Hugh Jackman deserves an Oscar nod for Logan, because he plays a broken, beaten down character who looks like he's seen some shit, and it is amazing. I really loved Logan, and it took me by surprise how much I did. And if you're not a fan of superhero movies, Logan has a lot for you, and was a great send-off to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Coming in at number 3, I have The Disaster Artist. James Franco as Tommy Wiseau, who directed, wrote, and produced and acted in what is widely considered the worst movie of all time, The Room. His performance as Tommy was amazing, and that's super ironic to me. I really loved The Disaster Artist, and while I was kind of expecting more like of it ripping on The Room, I'm glad I didn't get that, because it was actually really inspiring, and I had a lot of fun with it. And while the comedy is there, it's definitely a comedy, it's a lot more serious than I thought it would be, and I really loved it. And I was expecting James Franco and his brother, Dave Franco, to just completely seem like they were just brothers wanting to make a movie, but no, they actually seem like Greg Sestero and Tommy Wiseau, and their tale is fascinating. I have the Disaster Artist book, and just, I can't get enough of the story. It is amazing, and I highly recommend The Disaster Artist, even if you aren't a fan of The Room. Coming in at number 2, I have Lady Bird. Lady Bird was a movie I expected a lot out of, because the trailers looked fantastic, and the director is originating from Sacramento, and it's her first time directing a movie, or a feature-length movie. I don't know how. The directing is great, and I think the star of this movie is the script. The script is phenomenal. I loved it. Every scene feels so real. All the characters seem like they're having a real-life discussion rather than reading off a script that the director gave them. It is some of the best dialogue I've ever seen in a movie. The mother-daughter relationship seems so real. And while the whole story might seem a little generic, it's the way they execute it that makes it interesting. And it is a complete love letter to the city of Sacramento. And the characters all are amazing in the movie. And I really hope that the director gets an Oscar nomination. So if you're a fan of just teen dramas or just movies in general, I really recommend Lady Bird. Coming in at my number 1 spot is Blade Runner 2049. This was really powerful in every way of the word. I expected a blockbuster, and I got closer to an art house movie. There is not a scene where there's guns, explosions going off everywhere while the villain gives some exposition why he's doing everything. No, it's not like that. It's a world-building movie set with themes, character development, and the themes really shine through the philosophical question of what it means to be human and what it is slavery, what is defined as slavery when it comes to non-human robots, is fascinating. I loved it. And the cinematography, directing, and just color grading in general is the best I've ever seen. It's the best looking movie of all time, hands down. And the drama there that's in the movie is so fantastic, and every scene had me on the edge of my seat. 2 hours and 49 minutes seemed like an hour. It was incredible. I can't pronounce the director's name, but I'll put his name right here. His directing was absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely loved every frame of this movie. I can't wait to watch it again and again. I adored it. And I think that if you're a fan of cinema, Blade Runner, or even if you're not a fan of Blade Runner, it is incredible. I think the word 2049 kind of throws people off because they're just like, oh, it's just another futuristic space action movie. No, it's not like that. It is absolutely incredible, and I recommend it to anybody. But yeah, guys, that's my list of the top 10 movies of 2017. I had a lot of fun making it, and I still need to see a lot of movies. If there is a movie I see and I think it belongs on the list and something else doesn't, I'll probably make an update. I'm almost guaranteeing that Spider-Man and It are gonna get knocked off. But yeah, some movies I still need to see are 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Shape of Water, The Post, The Florida Project, Call Me By Your Name, The Big Sick, and Wind River. And if you disagree with me, leave your comment down below of your top 10 movies of the year. Hope you guys enjoyed, and subscribe for more.